Well, CNN is disgusting. There is no getting around that now. Brooke Baldwin was on there, and she read she read a letter from a mother. Now, this Parkland shooting happened. Was going to be a year ago, on Valentine's Day, which is a very sad event. And to everyone that was affected by it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that all these things um, happened. But it's not it's not the gun's fault. It's not the fault of any of the parents. It's not the fault of, the kids. It's the fault of bad uh, enforcement of our laws, and it's the fault of there's just evil in the world, and there's nothing you can do about that except fight against evil. Um, the mother in this scenario is like basically saying her grief. Yeah, and you should go watch the clip. It's on CNN's YouTube channel. Excuse me. It's one of the most recent ones, but her grief has convinced her to fight for change, and she yelled at in the letter. It's funny. It's funny. Someone who's so bogged down by grief, she drags Donald Trump into it. Like, I yelled at the president for you, and it's like, well, you're not acting like a mother who's sad that her child died. Not now. I'm not saying she's not, obviously, but I'm really sad that this happened to her. But I think that maybe she's milking it for what it's worth. It's been over a year now, and you're writing a letter about this? And Brooke Baldwin cries on CNN, and oh, she's such a great little actress, ain't she? Because she goes from crying to smiling in part of the letter. When, the mother's talking about, oh, I love when you were on the soccer team and all that stuff. It's funny. You were crying in one part, and you're smiling, and then she goes back to cry. She wasn't really crying. She was like she was holding back tears. And I do believe that some of her emotions were real. I just think that she was, again, milking it. What gives you the right to rally against the prez? And here's what it against the president. And here's what it boils down to. Here's what this whole thing boils down to. The fact of the matter is that we see this more and more. School shootings haven't been happening more and more. They've been happening at relatively the same rate since the 90s. But that was my speaker. But what has been happening more is the exploitation of it. And yeah, parents are doing it too. I hate to say it, but they're doing it too. And I give them a little bit more of a pass because their kid just died, and I couldn't imagine what that feels like because I've never been through anything like that. But yeah, I'm taking a chance and I'm putting this video out because I think that liberals like to use their kids. I mean, we see this with the whole, trans kids thing now and all that. This happened in Broward County, one of the bluest counties in the state of Florida, one of the bluest counties in the country. It happened in a liberal area at a liberal high school with some principal who didn't give a crap, didn't give a good damn about what happened. He's going around driving around in his nice Corvettes and stuff. I screamed at the school board. Well, you sound a little irrational then. Maybe you shouldn't be making policy. And there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, you need to go and you need to calm down. If it takes you a year, if it takes you a couple of years, do it. But don't go trying to change policy for everybody else. If anything, gun restrictions are what caused the Parkland shooting. No one at the school has guns to defend themselves, to defend the kids. Nobody. The police knew about this kid. I followed the whole story. He was reported to the FBI. 35 calls on this kid and no arrest. Because of some stupid little program between the police department and school. I don't remember the whole thing, but I remember the gist of it. The police didn't do their job. And for some reason, you're going to blame the president or you're going to blame half the country for that happening. Excuse the piss out of me if I'm not going to jump on board with that. It's funny, you don't see these school shootings in rural communities. You don't see them in big high schools, but in the country, right? Because there are places like that where they just have a big high school and then a bunch of different communities have kids go there, right? So you can say, well, the chances are lower because the school population. Well, what about the big high schools in the country? Like, that's getting off on another rabbit trail to stupid territory. But it's funny, you never see this happen in rural communities. And it's not as common in urban communities either. It tends to happen in the suburbs. Why is that? Could it be that the suburbs are dominated by white liberals? Could it be that they tend to be the least armed people in the country? I don't know, maybe. Tends to happen in suburban districts that aren't far outside of the major city. So, like, the further you are, like, you know, I mean, obviously it depends on a number of factors: the state, the school security. Florida schools have horrible school security. I went to middle school and elementary school in Florida. They're open. They're outdoor. The hallways are outdoor hallways. It's so easy for a criminal to get on the campus, it's not even funny. In other states, they have it as one big building, right? No, not in Florida. Well, we have sunshine. You know, even though it's still the rainy season when school starts, which is in August down there. Late August, school starts. It's still raining and there's wind blowing the rain. But, you know, those awnings will keep you nice and dry. They don't. They're all spread out. They're like a college campus, but in a high school. They're the dumbest setups I've ever seen. I used to have to run to get to classes, and I was told not to run on a sidewalk, by the way, when I only had 4 minutes to get from one end of the school to the other. That's how the campuses are set up there. Yeah, no crap school shootings happen there, and they're more common there. Florida's had several high-profile shootings. Texas has too, because of illegal immigration. I mean, you don't hear about those. You only hear about the ones that are white males. You know. But down on the border towns, oh yeah, they've had shootings. Several of them. You don't hear about it. The exploitation the exploitation of this mother by CNN is what really irritates me, because, you know, maybe this mother is not ginning it up again and trying to make it controversial again. Maybe not. I don't know if that's necessary. I mean, it's come to the point where I think a lot of liberal parents do not care about their kids. They will use them for any political goal. And my hair's getting pushed up here. You know? I think that's really what it's coming to. And if you, God forbid, you ever mention that maybe, just maybe, the parents are using their kid's death. Because I think she talks about her grief. I think she regrets not spending time with her daughter, or not being as close with her daughter as she could have been. And I think her husband's the same way. As her and her husband have been, oh, we gotta stop this crap. And then she takes some perfectly, takes some picture that a typical liberal would take, where it's like subjective art or whatever. She's got like stuff written on her arm, and she's wearing a special shirt. And it's funny, she's got her hand on like one of her boobs. It's like, wait, that's why did you pose like that? That's not normal. It's almost like you're doing an art project, like one of those liberal art projects where they're like, oh, it's my boobs, like the feminists. Like, why? She's wearing some shirt that had the message on it too. It's like, why are you doing this? Do you know what this symbolizes, right? This is the hand bra. That's what that symbolizes. The hand bra is a feminist symbol. All kind of fishy, kind of weird. Why would you do that? What are you trying to get out of this? Why are you bringing this up a year later and pumping it out to the news media? Come on. What's up? Yeah, I'm willing to go there. I'm actually willing to bring this up because other conservatives don't have a backbone. Oh, if you ever say that a parent might be using their dead child as exploitation, you're a bad person. How dare you say that? It shouldn't even be said, even if it is true. Why not? See, left does it all the time. They stand what they're doing, what they're getting away with, and the parents are getting away with this too. Not all of them. By the way, most of the Parkland parents are like, we just want better school security. They just don't want their kids dying. But some of them are really bad people. David Hogg is a really bad guy. And it turns out, if you look at the story, David Hogg wasn't as involved in the shooting as he originally said. That he might not have even... There's still controversy as to whether or not he was even in the same building. We don't know. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I don't care. I mean, I've heard different stories. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say, yeah, sure, you were there, you saw the shooter, he was killing people in front of you. But you certainly don't act like a person who just went through a traumatic event like that. Instead, you go out and call people a bunch of effing... It's funny, he gets away with cussing on CNN. If you say the N-word on CNN, you get kicked off. Unless you're black. And you're a liberal black. When you say Negro, you can't really say... you can go on Don Lemon's show and call Kanye West a Negro. And that's okay. And not in like the traditional politically... Like, the word Negro didn't used to mean what it's associated with now. It's funny, the way they said it. It's, they were like, oh, he's this is a minstrel show. Oh yeah, Kanye West doesn't have any mind of his own. He's being pulled. The poor little bastard. Oh, get out. You see the double standard? This is what I'm trying to point out. Here's the double standard. Now, normal people get this. Leftists don't. They see a double standard and they go, but so? They don't care. So fine, let's fight fire with fire then. If they're past the point of no return. The double standard means nothing to them. You say that someone is ginning up controversy on the left, and that they might be, of course in this CNN clip it was obvious that Brooke Baldwin and CNN was doing this, but standing on the bodies of dead children. It's like when Ben Shapiro said that to Piers Morgan, oh my gosh, right? But it was true. However, even Ben Shapiro ain't got the guts to say to a parent, or not even to them. I wouldn't say this to them, to their face, because no. I probably wouldn't even ever be in the same room. I probably couldn't stand to be in the same room with them. I wouldn't say this to them because I know it's hard. It's not because I'm a coward. I'm not afraid of saying it. I just don't want to be in that situation. I don't want to cause more trouble than there already is. Because it would come to a fist fight. I'm sure it would. And then I get arrested, and yeah. But I'm not wrong for saying that we should be wary of this. And it very well might be that this mother just released this letter online, and it was like, she just wanted to honor her daughter. But the pictures was really it kind of gave something away. It had a very arrogant flair to it. And I'm going to err on the side of caution and say that this mother was not doing this for pure reasons. Purely for her daughter. For her dead daughter's memory. I'm going to go out on a limb. Because this is despicable. If you want to grieve, you get over it, and you try to move on. You don't stick it in our faces and then say that we're bad people. No, the letter did not say that, if you're wondering. But it was very, very... There's something... Like, why did it come out on CNN of all channels? Like, there's something more to it, obviously. There's got to be a backstory to this. I'm not going to get into conspiracies. But I'm guessing that the mother is not as nice of a person or as good-hearted of a person as she tries to put herself out there to be. And again, this picture was like taken from this angle. Come on, that's a feminist symbol. There's something... You got to call out things for what they are. And when I saw this video, I'm like, really? I listened to the whole thing, okay? I gave her a chance. Maybe she's not, but then when she mentioned the Trump thing, I'm like, well, now I have to make a video about it. That was not needed. That's not... Again, that is not... I'm not someone who's had anyone really close to me die. But I've seen people who've had people close to them die, and they don't act like this. They don't go, and I yelled at the president. That's never in there. We're fighting daily. No one ever says that. It's always, I can't believe you're not here. It's not mean-spirited. It's sad. And that is not the emotional response that I felt from it. That is not the signal. That was not the purpose of it, I guess. I don't know exactly what this video is dragging on. I'm running out of thoughts. I'm kind of tired, but just know that there's always more to the story these days with the left, and they will do anything. You say, hey, trans kids, that's a bad thing. You shouldn't be doing that. Do you hate kids? That's immediately what they go for. And I tell you, if I were to just talk to this mother and be like, hey, I don't think this is the answer, I guarantee you she would shout me down and cuss me out. Guaranteed. This is the type of person this woman is. It's sad, but true. And if this video is controversial and people get pissed off, I don't care. I'm tired of being told that I'm a bad person for believing in the Second Amendment. For believing that I should have the ability to protect myself against my own government. This is exactly what they want. And the left will just go along with it and just pretend like Oh, what are you accused? What? How can you say that to parents? They say it to us all the time. You know, illegal immigrants with guns on the border, killing people daily, all the time. That's okay. But a school shooting in Broward County by a white kid's not. Why? Because he was a white kid. White male. That's the reason. Because it detracts from the real issues. I don't even think the left is as racist as they say they are. They just use race as a divider because they rather have a bunch of illegal voters. Don't think for a second that's not what this is about. And if I'm an a-hole, so be it.